Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Oz with Tow Vibes, and I wanted to do something special today that I haven't done. I haven't done a video like this where I just kind of just do a recap of everything that's been going on since I started this journey 4 years ago today, and today is the 4 year anniversary of Tow Vibes. So thank you if you have subscribed and been part of the Tow Vibes movement and culture and supporting me and my journey as I do my tow thing, which is everything from reposting tow fail videos, towing videos, doing my own content. We do products. We do just general knowledge, tips, and tricks about towing and stuff like that. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Help me out so I can keep going because I can't do it without you guys. So I just want to give thanks. Really, I got to give you guys thanks again and again to uh, you know, making this happen for me. Everybody kind of that does YouTube and social media and stuff. Of course, you want as many subscribers as you can. So being over almost at 40K on YouTube is a big deal because it's not easy. There's big $1 million companies that can't get to almost 40,000 subscribers. So, thank you everybody for the support. And really, I just got to go back and start from the beginning. If you're new to the channel or you're an OG, put it in the comments on what you want to start seeing, the kind of videos that you like, and let me know how you like my new setup. I got a new mic. I got another mic over there for guests and having some people over. I'm gonna have some people come through and we're gonna do some interviews and stuff. But I'm still trying to figure out the whole logistics of how this all works because I was anti-podcasting for a while. I don't know why, but I would watch some other people's and stuff, and it just wasn't really my thing. But I guess it's the thing now, and I think I'll enjoy doing this. And not every video has to be out in the field doing stuff. I want to get into some of the dirt, of some of these videos and stuff about the industry and different products, and I want to make it about you guys too. I want to share your stories and show your videos and stuff too. So you can always send me stuff on my Facebook page, Tow Vibe, Instagram, Tow Vibes. I'm also on TikTok, Tow Vibes. Hit me up. I've helped a lot of you guys have reached out to me over the years, and I don't put everything out there. Some stuff I put out there, but people always reach out to me for help, and I do what I can to help people. You know what I'm saying? I spread myself really thin, and between being married, having a YouTube channel, running a business, having two daughters, time gets really tight. So it doesn't leave me a lot of time to do these types of things. I got to try to maximize the time that I have to make it happen. So I want to go back to the beginning on what started all this. Um, I always loved tow trucks. I remember being young, having, piece of crap little cars I was fixing up and flipping and racing, in Chicago, where I grew up, and then later in the suburbs of Chicago before I moved out here to the STL area. Um, I remember calling the tow truck guy, and he'd show up in that cool tow truck, man. He'd show up, he'd have his colors on, and you're like looking at him like, yeah, man, this is the tow guy. He's gonna make it happen. Like, how's he gonna do that? And I would always sit there watching. I'm one of those people that would like to watch the tow guy kind of do what he does, right? Tow the car. So I remember I called the tow man one time to come out, and I had a little Mazda, the lowered one, it was a turbo, a little Mazda Speed 3, and something happened, blew the main fuse or something, and something happened. I had to take it back in the dealer under warranty because it was all warranted. So I called the roadside. I called the roadside. They sent the tow guy out. He came out. He towed my car. He put some wood down and he got that front end to lift up because I'm like, oh man, he's gonna scratch up my bumper and stuff. And he made it happen. And I seen that. And man, he loaded it. He did it with one hand, had his other hand free, and put his little chains on. And he got it up that bed and he got it back to the dealership that I actually worked at the time. And that kind of really piqued my interest. And I basically was in the car industry doing sales and service and finance for many years actually. And so we dealt with tow guys, later on too. And I always thought that was cool because they'd pull up those big fancy tow trucks, and those things were just badass. Some of them really decked out, you know. So honestly, after the car industry, it burnt me out. Being locked in that building for 8, 10 hours a day, every single day, Saturdays only off on Sunday. It was tough, man, and I couldn't do it anymore. It was almost like I was doing time because I was trapped in a building. And later on, I just kind of got into roadside assistance to take a job, because I was low on money and I was just trying to figure it out. And I knew I needed something because on my mother-in-law's basement, and I knew I wanted something better. So I took a job, at a local auto parts store, and which kept me kind of in the automotive loop, kind of got me in contact with some shops and made some good friends and stuff at different shops and stuff. And I left there to pursue, Uber. I was doing Uber, I was doing Lyft, and then later on started doing Turo, and we were renting cars out and stuff. And then that was just always constant problems and stuff like that. So I later switched over and found a gig doing roadside assistance, and that was pretty good for me because I'm kind of a person that likes to constantly be moving and doing stuff. So I was doing the tire changes and the lockouts, and I remember the first call I ever got was on a little Ford Fiesta hybrid or C-Max, one of those little hybrids, and it was a lockout. And I was actually pretty good at lockouts naturally because I always used to lock my keys in my car. So I figured out kind of how to wedge the door open and use a wire hanger. Like I was like a magician with that wire hanger. If anybody locked their keys in their car, I would help them out even back in the day. So, I did the roadside assistance thing and everything, and then I got into repossession. And there was a lot of politics within repossession between the different guys and who got to run what calls and stuff. And that got me to be pretty quick on a self loader. That was what we were trained in. We had a little cab over chassis, and it was a dynamic little 601 boom on there, and that was a great combination because that cab over with that self loader would grab everything. I would grab F350s, no problem. The Silverados and the Fords would lift the wheels up off the ground, and not with the cab over. The cab over would just haul it and go and be gone. And it was a Mitsubishi, and that was a tough little truck. So I learned on that, and we were doing repos, down in the city. And I was actually fortunate to learn from one of the best repossession agents in the St. Louis area. His name was Steve. He was a transporter, and unfortunately, he was killed in front of his shop, because of some politics and stuff and some stuff that was going on there that, it's none of my business. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But he was the OG of the repos and the towing game. And he did some amazing things, and he taught me a lot. And then there was another guy named Steve also, which was great. I actually trained with him before I trained with the other Steve, who later was killed. And them two guys really taught me everything on how to get up underneath cars and how to load cars and stuff. And then, I learned how to do the rollback. Me being a daytime driver, we weren't allowed to run the night calls that first came out. Those are reserved for the night guys. So we only were able to run the addresses that have been out for one day already, basically the leftovers. And then, but we had a little bit of advantage because in the daytime, everybody's at work. So we were hitting people at work. But, a lot of time people know they're not going to take their car to work when they know their car is up for repo. So I spent a lot of time in a tow truck and being in tight spaces and kind of doing the cat and mouse thing. And I wasn't making a lot of money doing that, I'll be honest with you. The owner of the company at that time, I didn't like him. I guess I rubbed him the wrong way or something, but I was a great operator. I never messed anything up. I did get arrested one time for towing a car off the police impound yard, which is a whole store within itself. And I want to have some proof. I'm going to go get the document or whatever, so you guys don't think I'm lying, because you guys can be like, oh, you lying. No, I'm not lying. I tried to repossess the car off of the police impound yard. I thought it was just a normal tow yard, but I guess it was a police impound yard, and I actually got my claws onto it, but then the skilled, really OG repo guy came out and pulled the keys out of my truck, and then they towed my tow truck, and then they took me to jail. So that was a whole thing within itself, and we'll get back into that later after I go get the report, and then I can put it on here. Y'all can actually see it. So that was some of my experience, getting into the repos. It was an adrenaline rush, and unfortunately, your boy Oz is an adrenaline junkie. That's what keeps me out in the streets doing these repos every day. I absolutely love, the adrenaline rush. It can take a toll on you doing repossessions because you're literally kicking people when they're down. So now I don't do them as much, but I do it. I got to look at the case, once the repo comes in. I really got to evaluate it and look and be like, well, do these people really deserve, to get the wrath of Tow Vibes, to get, pull up to their work, to their school, whatever, and stalk them out and get it? If it's for a good buddy that's got a car lot, or a company that's going to pay me my fee that I want to do the repo to be worth my time, then I'll do it. But those are few and far in between. Usually I'm, PPI, or just general towing roadside, stuff like that, accident, stuff. So, but anyway, going back into the repos, it was cool. It was cool working for somebody because they had all the nice trucks, they had the office, they had the indoor pole barn and everything, and it was super cool because you're using their resources and stuff. And I guess you fall in love with the tow trucks. They're so damn cool with the lights, and they look like the damn Batmobile coming down. You're just starting in the game, you get handed to you a $90,000 F450 wrecker, to go do these repos and stuff, or the Mitsubishi cab over. It's cool, but unfortunately, I did not get along. The manager at the place, Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy if you're watching. He was a good guy. He was my buddy, and it was sad that I had to leave there because I wasn't getting paid a fair rate, and it just didn't work out. It was slow, and the owner didn't really like me, and it was a bad vibe. So I left there, and I just really started focusing, doing more on roadside assistance by myself, and then building my business. I got on YouTube, started checking out some of these guys like Towman127. Towman127, you're my dude. A couple other guys too that I'm not going to mention their name because I really looked up to them in the industry, and then they kind of just kind of shit on me, and tried to embarrass me and stuff like that. So I'm kind of more of a lone wolf now. I only mess with a couple people, and that's okay. You got to be careful out there. You got to limit your exposure to people sometimes to keep your mental and everything good. So, after doing those repossessions and getting into roadside, I decided to open up my own company and do my own thing because I just was sick of having a boss. I wanted to be my own boss, and I always kind of just wanted to have my own business. So, I started documenting these videos and me, and I probably put some videos up that I shouldn't have because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the beginning, but at least I had the balls to, but a lot of people, were throwing me shade and stuff, but, I learned from that. I learned how to take that hate and how to push it into a positive, and I call it jet fuel, instead of, getting all the love and everything, you got to use the hate sometimes too to build that fire up underneath you. So that's what I did, and I just kept pushing forward. I grew my channel, grew the company, and I'm glad you guys are here. Give a shout out to all the subscribers and everybody. I know we were starting off 100, 200 subscribers. We're almost at 40,000. So thank you, Tow Vibes gang, for hanging in there with me. It's been a rocky road at the beginning, but now, I'm starting to find a little bit more of a path of what I want to do and how I'm going to take the direction of the channel. And we basically do it all. I don't do this shit for free. You know what I'm saying? It costs money for time, equipment, diesel. So help me out, hit that subscribe button. And I got a new setup. So for the new people coming in and some of the OG people, Towman127, I got to give you a shout out. Let me know if you like my setup, if the sound sounds good. I got the new backdrop over here, as you can see. And then I got the signage over on this side. This side I had custom made with custom lighting sent to me by Larry over at Parts AM. You get all your LED there, plug for Larry. And I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I'm gonna just start from the beginning, right? First, my name is Oz, and I basically went from tow trucks, cars, and energy drinks. I just came up with that because of like cars and coffee, and I liked energy drinks and tow trucks and cars, and I was documenting cars and stuff. So I decided to, adopt that name, tow trucks, cars, and energy drinks. And it was a little hard to roll off of the tip of the tongue at the beginning of some of my videos. So it slowly evolved into Tow Vibes, which I think suited me a little bit better. So, first I got to give, shout out to the channel and to the people and the subscribers again for following me on this journey, because I can't do it without you guys. And I'll be honest, almost quit a few times, you know what I'm saying? But then, you guys are in the comments and then you're asking for videos and stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep cranking out the content and just keep on with my journey. You know, I started off my first tow truck. Oh man, it was an International. It was a '93. It was a rollback, and I flew all the way out to Michigan for that truck. And I thought it was a DT466 motor in that, and the guy had lied to me. So I flew out there, and I thought I was gonna buy a DT466E, or excuse me if I'm wrong, but I think that's it. That's the name of the motor. It's a DT466, and it's a little bit better than those T44s, those land tractors. Man, those things were slow. So anyway, I found this thing on Craigslist, and you know, I talked to the guy about it. I talked him down over the phone to about like 8,000, and then I flew all the way out there to Michigan, and then I get to a shop. It's in Detroit. It's in the city. It's in the hood, and then this dude comes out. His name was Romani, and you remember me, Romani? If you out there, yeah, you sold me that truck. So anyway, I flew out there, and he lied to me about the motor that was in there. And I was like, bro, you told me this was a DT466. And he's like, no, man. He's like, it's a T44. And I was like, brother, whatever, man. I was like, I'm all the way out here. I'm like, I might as well just check it out. So while I was still kind of trying to grasp all that, I'm sitting here in Michigan, you know, 8 hours away from home. And he, I test drove it and everything, and we took it on for a test drive, and it was a stick. It was like a '93. And to back it up here for a second, the International was the rollback I learned on, so I was very familiar with that truck, and they were pretty much the least expensive on the market. Um, they probably still are now, because that's, those anything older than that, I mean, it's just probably a rust bucket. But back when I started out, those Internationals, they were reigning supreme. They were all over the place, and the years anywhere from, I think it's like '93 to like 2002. You can get the boxy style one that looks like the old school buses. But anyway, so this thing was a manual, and I'm sitting there driving it around, no tow insurance or anything on it. I'm just driving it around Michigan. And it had a little bit of a grind going into second gear, but I didn't care. I just needed something. I wanted to get into towing. So I really had no business going out there and buying a tow truck at all. I didn't know how any of this stuff really worked or stuff I should be looking for. I mean, yeah, I was flipping cars and Mustangs and motorcycles, so I kind of knew a little bit, what to look for here and there, and from doing some of the pre-checks and stuff from when I was at the repo place. But when you're there in the moment, you kind of just go dumb, because it's just so much to take in, and I really didn't do my due diligence. But then again, what tow truck are you going to get for under $10,000? So we ended up doing the deal. The guy didn't even have the title for the truck, because he had already signed it over to someone else that was going to give him a certain amount, but I paid him a little bit more, so he took the title back. So I ended up driving it home with just promises of a title, but I took pictures of his ID and everything, and we did a bill of sale, so I was confident he was going to send me the title, which he did. He ended up sending it to me after a few weeks, and I can't believe I made it home. I got stuck in rush hour traffic. He got me on that truck. I mean, every 45 minutes, and I had to drive about 6.5, 7 hours back home. It took me about 10, I think, in that particular truck with all the traffic and everything, because it was in the wintertime. And I drove that truck every 40 miles or every, hour. It would basically shut down. Sometimes it would do it twice in an hour. It would shut down, and I'd have to pull over to the side of the road, start bouncing on the gas pedal, playing with the shifter on, off, and then, I had to do that probably about 30 times. This truck had an oil leak that was so bad. This oil leak was so bad, I mean, I had to pull over probably the same thing about every 45 minutes, every hour, just to throw oil in this thing, because it was leaking so much oil. I had to probably have bought at least 10 to 15 quarts of oil to fill that up, because it was leaking so bad. On top of that, I didn't even notice that where the passenger sets their feet, the guy had a rug covering it, and there was a hole about that big in the cab of the chassis, because the cab was rusted out so bad. And I got that truck home by the grace of God. I don't even know how I made it home, but I made it home. I got home about 2, 3 in the morning, and then I parked it over at a yard that I was running some space from, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, man, this thing barely works. I don't know what to do. I went back on Craigslist, found a diesel mechanic that was nearby, and he hooked his scan tool up to it, and then he read the code that there was getting no signal at the gas pedal. So I fixed it for about $75 or 100 something dollars. I can't remember, but I went to AutoZone. They had it. I got it through my commercial account. I swapped the pedal out, and the truck actually started running decent. Yeah, it was still pissing a ton of oil, but it was still running, and I was able to use the truck. And then I ended up selling that truck, and I don't think I did one tow in that truck. It sat at the yard. I was depressed because I thought I had a bad buy, and I did have a bad buy, but I actually ended up selling it to somebody that drove up from Kentucky because I just reposted it back online. And then I ended up selling it for like $12,500, so I made a couple bucks on it. And then after that, I was just buying and selling tow trucks, really. I would go back on Craigslist or Marketplace, find another T44 or another DT466 and just sell those, because those trucks would sell like hotcakes. Any tow truck under 20 grand was selling fast. So I finally got some money back, and I went from literally having every single dollar and money that I had and didn't have, money that I borrowed and stuff. And I remember I only had like $2,000 left in the bank account. And then I got rent, I got payments, electric, car payments and stuff. And then I just said, screw it, man. I put my business together. I borrowed a little bit of money from some family. And then on top of the money I was making from, flipping the tow trucks, and I went out and I got, my first Ram, which was pretty much the best truck out there, running a Cummins, of course, Cummins. But, once I started getting into the Ram 5500s, I bought and sold a few of them. And then the thing was I was getting so many calls for towing and stuff. People would call me, and I would always sell the truck. It was like every time I had the truck, no one would call me. And then when I sold the truck and didn't have one, I'd be getting blown up. So finally I decided to just start signing a bunch of motor clubs, getting some retail, and just putting myself out there. And it all worked out pretty well. So, that guy thought he got me, and he probably did, but I ended up taking those lemons and turning it into some lemonade. So, just goes to show you, in the tow industry, everybody says, they're brothers and this and that. Them half the ones are the ones that are screwing each other over. So not everybody is brothers at all, because I got my truck from a tow guy, and he done got my ass. And I got a few times buying some trucks, that were not good. So just remember, when you're out, when you're going to go look at a tow truck, make sure you get a private inspection. Don't take anybody's word for it. Make sure they got their current DOT inspections, and, you get it independently looked at, because you do not want to get stuck with a tow truck. Those repair bills are not nice. Half the shops got, 2-3 months out to work on them. Older trucks are impossible to get parts for. So, I just wanted shed a little bit of light of my origin story and what kind of got me to this. So, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I was going to do towing and be towing, I would have told you no, not at all. You're crazy. Never, never. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. This was kind of an important episode for me, because I'm still kind of fine-tuning everything with the sound and the lighting and all that. I'm not big budget. I don't got a whole lot of money or a whole bunch of help. Definitely not. I do everything. And, that's good though, because then I get to do things how I like them. But eventually I want to start getting some help with some of this stuff. And thank you everybody so much for the 20th time. Hit that like and subscribe button, and stay tuned, because we're going to have some good videos coming out, and we're going to have some special guests here soon. So, and we're going to have some special guests here also. So, Tow Vibes out. See you around.